All right. So I'm going to jump into the container files. So again, container file, blank file. This is the plan production container file. And as you saw on ProjectWise, that resides, that container production plan. So again, plan production container, that resides under roadway, under sheets. The reason why it resides under sheets is because that's what it goes with. So we want to make sure that we're keeping those separate of where we have other container files for like the corridor design, other things like that, that are main design files. We want to keep those separate in roadway, and anything that goes with sheets in sheets. So if we have that referenced in there, that's where we really want to keep that at. So that's what this file is. This file then being, let's see if reference pop up. So I've already attached the files that I would like to have in here. And again, we will have in the CAD manual, there will be the CAD and digital delivery manual, there'll be PDFs that are available also in the projects. So as you start your project, you will have container file setups, production file setups, file naming, folder structure outline, and then just document management, just some best practices of those things. Those will start to reside in your projects as you go. These will be, right now they're PDFs. What we'll probably want to do is make some Word documents so that if people need to adjust some different things, they can, like project number, for example, isn't going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on every project, as you see here. But this is a clip of the roadway of what those PDFs will look like in there. So what I've done is I've attached the files necessary for the plan production and how that works. So those files in the plan production in here, again, we went over in day one, that are not data connected. So meaning data connected with inlets, other things like that, or that type of stuff. I don't want to have a bunch of data connection in my plan production. Those are all going to reside elsewhere. So what I have attached in here is, you can see it's plan mat is what it's called now. This is your materials, your hatching file, your shading, different things of that essence. And as we move forward again, down, a few years down the road, hopefully sooner, where we're just be able, be using our components, be using those different things for what the hatching will look like, because it'll be a material attached to it. So we'll be able to start to manipulate that a little bit more, where we're not having to have separate files for some of these things. I have a sanitary file, the SU file, so the utility data collection subsurface utility engineering file, a storm file, so these are all existing. And then my survey mod existing, so my planimetrics, I have that in here. And I also have my drainage file in here. So my hydraulics file, both 2D and 3D, you'll see that in there, and we'll go over why on that. And then the right-of-way, I guess, again, LIN right now, because LIN is just a line work. It's not, we don't have the 3D information attached to it on this one for it to be an MOD, which would show up in cross sections, those types of things. So these are the files. So you can see everything is there. There's no level symbology. There's nothing turned on. We'll also go through update sequence in this. But under your view attributes, so I'm going to close this for now, the reference file. And you can see I'm going to zoom into this guy a little bit more. This also provides the sequence of how you want your files layered, what you want to show up first and last, and so on and so forth. So like the corridor design file, you don't see that in here because that's going to be attached into the plan production when we go through those elements on the plan production side, and we'll go through why, because that is a container file and that's a live nest, and we want to make sure to keep those live nested files down, and we can pull that into the plan sheet itself. The other thing that we would do too, so like any specialty group, when we get into the plan files, those will be attached separately. So like if it's a drainage file, I'm going to attach that in as itself, So that way it's on top, it prints on top. We have it set up that way. Again, here's your overrides colors. So we're going to have overrides. Another thing we'll have on here I don't have listed is the levels, different levels that are on and off in the container file. Why those are on, why they're off, line weights, different things like that. So we're going to be controlling that in the container file itself. So this container file for plan production, the sequencing, the level overrides, so weights, colors, level manipulation, so turning on and off levels, those types of things are all going to be done in the container file. This container file, you will not change any of those in the plan production. If you do, it loses that information. So one of the other, and we'll go through references here in a minute, but I did want to hit on this real quick. And again, it will be in the manual. Under view attributes, so view attributes, you can see I have level overrides is turned off. I'm going to turn on my level overrides, and you can see, I'm going to do that again, put the whole thing up. So I turn on my level override. So you can see some things went gray, some things turned, different elements like that. So again, I have an overrides color that I'm going to focus on really right now. So like materials, hatching, and shading. If I go to my level manager, under my home tab, under the primary button bar, I'm going to hit level manager. So in level manager, underneath my plan material, so if I come in here, this level symbology should all be turned off. So I will go to all overrides off on these. So you can see that changed that to a white color. So again, so it's at a 0, so it'll print black. So and we'll go over that. So again, these level symbologies that I'm changing and the colors that we're changing, why we're changing it, a lot goes back to using the one pin table. So if I'm able to manipulate my container files, get those set at the beginning of the project, and those are where they need to be, it continues through the life cycle of the project. I don't have to do anything else. That pin table is going to identify, oh, it's this color, this color, this color, along with the print driver as we get into that. So that's the reason we're setting these level symbologies. It's basically a what you see is what you get. So what you see on the screen is what it's going to print based on a few other colors. So you can see, so plan materials, so I turn those off. So again, if I come to here, I'm going to have my survey topo file and surface, and the surface is if that's included. So right now we don't have our terrain file in here because we're not using our contours. We're not showing that on our roadway plans for this project. So if I come in and I go to my mod, it should be set to 25. And it's already set to 25. So on and so forth, all of these different files that I have. So again, my mod files. So I should have my SU file set at 23. So if I come in here, I can pick and I can go and select 23 so that shows up on 23, and you'll see all of those changed. So all of my utilities have changed. Same thing with sanitary, storm. I want those to all be on 20, or sorry, on 23 as well, because they're existing. So I'm going to put those on 23 again. So these say proposed, so I don't have the proposed files. The only proposed I have in here are my hydraulic. So on my hydraulic files, so I want to change these, and I want to make sure that they are on, and I can't remember. Yeah, so right now you can see it's green. So the color that I want those to be on, sorry about all the zooming, is 20 as well, because those are proposed. So I want those to show up a little bit darker. I don't want them to be prominent. This is a roadway sheet. I want my roadway to be prominent, but I still want those things to show up at a darker level because they're proposed. And again, we'll get into that into the printing. So I'm going to set that to 20. I also have it set to line weight 1, which I mentioned earlier. We'll make sure that those are on there, and we'll go through why. So I have both a 2D and a 3D. And the reason why I have that is because we want to show the outside of the pipe. We want to show if there are conflicts on the outside of the pipe. We don't want to just show one line, one linear line, because we don't know what the conflicts are, especially when you have larger pipes. If I have a larger pipe, I'm going to have more conflicts with the outside. So we really want to make sure that that's shown in the plan view. So as far as level symbology, I think we have set all of our files to the correct level symbology. So now that I have everything set, and then right away again is existing is gray, proposed is the color it is. We'll go over those colors again in the when we get to printing and why those are left the way that they are. So with that, that's the level symbology. So I am going to take a break here before we get into update sequence and some of those things so that this video doesn't get too long. So Sahar, if you want to